Welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to show you how to crochet this clutch, and it's done with this beautiful stitch which is similar to the puff stitch, but it's called Elizabeth stitch, and I've added the snap. So this is a very simple pattern, so let's get started. So I've got 30 chains and I'm gonna add the 4 chains, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and for the first round I'm going into this 4th chain, so 1, 2, 3 and 4, and I'm going to start the stitch, so which is going to be, I'm going to insert the hook into this 4th chain and yarn over and pull up loop. So I've got 2 loops, and then I'm going to yarn over and go into the same stitch and yarn over and again pull up a loop like this, and I've got now 1, 2, 3, 4. Because I'm using 2 strands, you can see actually 8 loops, but if you're using a normal yarn it should be 4 loops, and then yarn over and go through all these 4. Oops. And then I'm going to chain 1, so that's the stitch. And now I'm going to skip next chain, go into the next one and do the same thing. So I'm going to go into, yarn over and come back. I've got now 2 loops, yarn over and go into, and then yarn over and pull up loop, and I'll have 4 loops again. Then yarn over and go through all 4, and each time you need to chain 1. So I've now got two stitches done. Skip next one, go into the next and repeat this pattern. So I've got now 2 loops, yarn over and go into the same, pull up a loop. You've got 4 loops, yarn over and go through all 4 and chain 1. And I'm going to continue this repeat pattern, which is skip one, go into the next, yarn over and come back. You'll have 2 loops, yarn over and go into the same, yarn over and pull up loop, and you've got 4, and then yarn over and go through all 4 loops. Oops. And then chain 1 and repeat for all of the chains. And now I'm in my last stitch, so I'm gonna skip next one and go into the last and do the same. And for the second round, so when you finish your stitch, what you're gonna do is chain 3, so 1, 2 and 3, and then turn the work and start the second round. So for the second round, what you're gonna do is, if you pull the 2 stitches like this, you can see there's 2 space, 1 and 2. So I'm gonna work into the very first one. So you can see in each of the stitches in between there's 2 spaces. I'm always gonna go into the very first one, which is this one. So now I'm gonna start the second round, insert, yarn over and pull up a loop. So I've got 2 loops, and then yarn over, go into the same space and pull up a loop. So now I've got again 1, 2 and 3, 4 loops, and I'm gonna go through all 4 and then chain 1, and you're gonna repeat this for this round. And now again I'm going into the next space, which is this one, and do the same thing. So it's very straightforward, it's not complicated. And each time chain 1 and then go into the next space, which is this one. And after this round you can see the crisscross look of the stitch. It looks a little bit like the puff stitch, so you can see. And continue this whole round like this, and this one is actually the repeat round. So the last stitch is going to be a little bit different, So you can see this is the, I've done this one, and the last one I'm going to work into this chain 3. So when you did this one is actually, where is it, here you go. So when you did the first stitch of the first round, we did skip the chain 3, and then in the fourth one we started, and this is the chain 3 space. We're going to go into that one for the last and do the same thing. So yarn over and pull up a loop, then yarn over and go into the stitch and pull up a loop and go through all 4, and that's it. So second round is done. After the second round you can definitely see the crisscross, and as you continue it will turn very nice. So now I'm going to turn, so chain 3, 1 2 3, turn the work and continue for the third round, and it's pretty similar. So you're going to work the stitch into the very first space. You can see there's still 2 of them, the first one. So I'm going to insert and pull up a loop, then yarn over and insert and then pull up a loop. So I've got 4 loops, and I'm going to go through all 4 and chain 1, and then again go into the next, which is here, and I'm going to do the same thing. It's repeating the pattern. So here you go, and continue this way. So to finish this third round, the last one is again going to be into the third chain, into the chain 3, which is a turning chain. So you find that space. So this is not here, it's here, and you go and work into that space. I've got too many loops because I'm using 2 strands, and here you go. And then continue the same pattern, which is chain 3, turn your work, and into the very first space you're gonna work the stitch, and it looks like this. I've continued the work for a total of 25 rounds. So if you want to make it bigger, just continue for any odd number of rounds. And now I'll be moving into the next bit, which is going to be, I'm going to do some single crochet round on both sides. So first I'm going to do into this, and then I'm going to go and do here, and I'll have to do also in the sides as well. So I'm going to start chain 1, and then you'll turn the work like this. I've got twisted, and now I'm going to start doing 1 single crochet into each of the stitches, and I'm going to have 32 single crochet. So just make sure you've got 32. 1 and oops, I can't get into it. Yes, so 2, 3, and continue until you've got 32. So I'm in my last single crochet, and which is not this chain 3 but the one before. It's here, and I made a mistake by saying it would be 32 single crochet. It's actually 31. So I've counted again, it's actually 31 single crochet. So now I'm going to do 2 more rounds of single crochet, chain 1 and then turn the work and do 1 single crochet in each, 1, 2, and continue for 2 rounds. So I finished the third round of single crochet. I'm going to chain 1 and secure this in and repeat the same thing on the other side. What would happen, this is the foundation chain and where we started the first round. You can see the slip knot. And you'll notice that if you count the stitches, you'll see that there's 32, but you need to manage to get 31. So what I'm going to do is, when you start here, I'm going to do 2 together and make 1 single crochet, and then do the rest of it. So total of 31 on this side. So I'm going to insert the hook into the first one here. I've got the slip knot. I'm going to grab it, drag it, and do the chain to secure it. And now what I'm going to do is go into the next one. So I actually don't need to do 2 together, as I said before. I can just go and do into the next one a single crochet, and it will be alright. So you can see, so this is the stitch that would be counted, and I'm going to do 1 single crochet into each. So now it's time for the sides. So what I'm going to do, this is the last single crochet of the third round. You're going to look on the side and you'll see the 2 loops of the stitch. So 1 and 2. You're going to insert and then grab the yarn. I've already done the slip knot, and do a chain, and that's it. So this is the first stitch, and now I'm going to do, so we've got a total of 3 rounds of single crochet. So I've done 1 stitch, and then I'm going to do 2 more for this. So I'm going to go into the next space, not this one but the next one, and go like this. You can see clearly, and I'm going to do 2 single crochet into that one, 1 and 2. So I've done now 2 single crochet and this chain for these 3 rounds of single crochet. And now for this stitch, I'm going to do 1 single crochet for each rounds. So I've done 25 rounds, so I'm going to have a 25 single crochet. So where I'm going to work is very simple. So now it's going to be this loop here, which is a single loop like this. I'm going to go into it and do the first single crochet, and then you can see these 2 loops. This is the stitch, and you insert the hook into the side loops. So 1 from each side, try to go like this and do the single crochet, and now into the next loop, which is again a single loop. Oops. And again this, you need to go through 2 loops. So find the loops like this, 1 and 2, and do the single crochet, and then again the single loop, and all the way you're going to go like this, single crochet. So if you want to see more, this is the single loop, and here the stitch you need to find 2 loops, 1 from each side, and go into it. And when you're here, I'm going to show you how to finish off. So I'm here now in the turning chain point. So what I'm going to do is, if you can see, there's 2 spaces. I'm going to go into the very first one and do 1 single crochet. So now it should be 25 total, starting from this one, which is the third one. So total of 28. And now in this point, I'm not going to go into the space, but I'm going to go into the stitch. So going through the 2 loops and do 2 single crochet into the same, 1 and 2. And to finish off, I'm going to go into this last bit, which is the first chain, which is here. I'm going to go sidewise, like side of the stitch. Oops. And do a slip stitch. So I'm not gonna do a single crochet, but I'm gonna do a slip stitch like this, and then chain one, and then you can cut the yarn. So that's it. You're gonna repeat the same thing on the other side as well, and where you're gonna work is at the same. So you can see the loop and you can see the stitch. So you're gonna work into this one. So repeat the same pattern for the other side as well. After weaving all the ends, you should now join the purse. But before joining, if you want to line, you should line. And I'm not lining the purse, so I'm just gonna join. I've already done this side. It's going to look like this. I've used a single crochet and done it on the wrong side. So if you turn your work, you can see the single crochet. And now I'm gonna do on the other side. So I put a stitch marker into the middle stitch, so you count 15 from this side, and on the 16th you put the stitch marker. So we're gonna have 15 single crochet. So now I'm gonna go into the wrong side. So turn your work, and I'm gonna start joining from this stitch marker, and I'm gonna take the same yarn and hook. So get your stitch marker off and go into one loop only, so this loop of that stitch, and join with a chain. That's it. So this one is secure now, and now I'm going to go into the next stitch of, I'm going to use one loop from each side and then do a single crochet, and I'm going to work this one on the back, so I don't need to weave it. So got one and continue until you have 15. So go 1, 2, and then continue. I've finished joining the side, and now it's time for the last bit. Again, you count the middle stitch, so count your stitches, find the middle one, and then put a stitch marker on, and I'm going to work into, this is the middle one, and I'll count 1, 2, and I'm going to start into that one, and I'm going to work from starting from this one into 5 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this is my slip knot, and I'm going to join with a chain, and then take the stitch marker off and work 5 single crochet starting from this one, the same one. So I'm going into the same one, and then to the first single crochet, and then 4 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I've got now 5 single crochet, and chain 1, turn the work like this, and then work again 5 single crochet starting from the very first one. So going into the first 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then I'm going to continue like this for a few more rounds. So chain 1 and turn work and 5 single crochet starting from the first one. So I've continued for 5 rounds total, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, And now last 2 rounds is going to be chain 1, turn the work, and do 2 single crochet together, which means go into the first one and you will have 2 loops, go into the next one, and now you're going to have 3 loops and go through all 3, and next one I'm going to do 1 single crochet, and again the last 2 I'm going to do 2 together. So the same way. So I've got now 3 loops and go through all 3, and the last round chain 1, turn the work again, and then go through first one and you'll have 2 loops, go through next one, you'll have 3 loops, and the last one. So you're doing 3 single crochet together, and that's it. And now you can chain 1 and cut the yarn. And then it's time to weave the end, and it will look like this. So I've done like this because I'm going to add a snap, not a button, so that's why there's no hole. So if you want to add a button, it's just going to be slightly different, and that's it. So that's the work done. So I've joined the snap, here it is, and that's it. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you.